Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.
Shalom, 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 Yashar'Al and Yahudah. After that, Gentile to the body of Mosheh, we the people of the book broadcast is going down. Praising Yahuah Elohayhem for the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. Praising him for an opportunity to be able to stand before you today to declare a Torah, a Besorah. Listening to none other than a song produced by the Besorah of Truth. The song is entitled The Strong Arm of Deliverance. I praise Yahuah for his mighty hand. I praise Yahuah for the deliverance of his people, for the gathering of his people. Abba Yahuah, I give you praise right now in the name of Yahushua Mashiach for your Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. Abba, I praise you right now in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, asking you to allow, asking you, Abba Yahuah, to take the reins of my lips, the reins of my tongue, and reign. Allow me, Abba Yahuah, the privilege of speaking a Torah to your people. Abba's a word that will minister to their hearts. Abba, a word that would quicken them on their insides. A word that would establish the presence of the Ruach of Yahuah in wisdom and truth manifested in earthen vessels. Abba Yahuah, a word that will cause them to turn to faith in the Mashiach Yahushua's witness, to be born again of the water and of the blood and of the Ruach HaKodesh, and be established as sons and daughters. Abba, you have a people that are called by your name, Yashar'Al. Abba Yahuah, you've called me to declare a word to Yashar'Al and Yahudah to wake up your people. And Abba Yahuah, you have extended an olive branch to those that are of the nation who will receive this witness. Abba, I pray in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach for them. Abba, I take authority in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach that you have given me. For you declare that I will tread upon serpents and scorpions, and nothing that the enemy does will prevail against me. Abba Yahuah, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, authority, power, dominion. I praise you, Abba Yahuah, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. I bind principalities and powers. I bind unclean ruachs. I bind perverse ruachs. I bind familiar ruachs. Abba Yahuah, I bind every unclean spirit in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach over those that you have chosen. Abba, I pray right now in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach that the quickening power of the Ruach HaKodesh in me would be demonstrated in the act of authority, commanding devils to take their hands off of y'all, your people. Abba, your people. Not my people, your people. Abba, I pray right now in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach that your people, which are called by your name, would humble themselves and receive this witness. I pray that they would break free in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Abba, I praise you. Let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuah, our strength and our Redeemer. Hallelujah. Listen, all praise to Yahuah Elohayhem for the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. You know, I'm thankful to Yahuah for his Ruach, his spirit. I'm thankful that he sent Hamashiach Yahushua to be a kinsman redeemer, to deliver a nation of people that he has chosen, whom he has a covenant with. Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, a people that he had a perpetual covenant with. A people that are called by his name. I praise Yahuah in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach for this witness. I praise him for allowing us, to be a people. And you know what? As a nation, listen, right? As a nation of people that have Yahuah as their Elohah, right? When we turn to him, he is our protection. He is our deliverer. He is our strong arm There is nothing that the enemy can do against us. And listen, the enemy is going to battle you if you're in this witness. If you're born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh, he is going to go to war with you. He's going to battle you on every front. And you just have to stay grounded in the Torah and the Besorah and speak a Torah against everything he launches against you. You got to stand in Amunah, having done all to stand. Listen, it's gonna get intense. It's gonna get intense. It's gonna get intense. But you know what? We serve Yahuah. We don't serve the earth pig. We don't serve Jesus. We don't worship Jesus. We don't worship the Lord. We don't worship God. We serve Yahuah. We are a people who are identified by his name. We understand his name. He gave our fathers his name. We knew his name, right? We knew his name. The enemy don't want you to walk in faith. He does not want you to walk in the Torah of truth that produces faith. He does not want you to stand on the Torah of truth, which is your anchor. He does not want you to confess a Torah. He wants you to speak a Torah. He don't want you to meditate on the Torah. He wants to teach you his way. He wants you to learn his ways. He wants you to be consumed and indoctrinated by his ways. His ways are contrary to Torah. Anything that goes contrary to Torah is contrary to the way. Torah is the way. Torah and obedience and keeping Torah is your physical demonstration of the way and or of being in the way. See, we were taught as a nation, as a people, and I've shown you over the last few lessons how we were taught. How Yahuah gave a word to our fathers. From Chinook to Methuselah, to Lamech, to Enoch, from Enoch to his sons, and from his son Shem on down, till he has established this perpetual covenant with the people that he has identified amongst the people. And they had a Torah. They had a way. They had a good way. They had a good way. A way that brought blessings, a way that brought prosperity, a way that brought increase. A good way. A Torah way. A way if you gave heed to and obeyed, right, and meditated and learned and taught your children the way, right, they would be blessed and you would be blessed. But Yashar'Al and Yahudah, you know, your forefathers failed miserably. They failed. They learned the ways of the heathen. They failed. Right? They failed. They failed to obey Torah. Even in getting into the land, they failed. Yahuah brought them all the way into the land, but yet they failed. Because they did not utterly remove all the Canaanite nations. They did not utterly remove all the nation, the descendants of Canaan. They were the occupiers of the land. Some of them embedded in the nation like ticks, and they refused to leave, and you know, we didn't push them. We didn't drive them out like Yahuah had instructed us to. And as a result, they became a perpetual snare. They were snared. Right, yeah, they were snared. We started to serve their elves. And because we did not serve Yahuah, he brought a judgment. And these same wicked nations that he sent us to send out, to kick out, they was running roughshod over us. Because your fathers didn't obey. Because they didn't obey. Right? We in the lands of our captivity. Right? Right? Right in the lands of our captivity because our fathers didn't obey. And you know, you listening now to a lot of I listen to a lot of YouTube. I don't really watch TV, but I watch African outlets that deal with African news and and certain I guess they call them content creators, right? And how, a lot of them are talking about how there are things that are occurring because our ancestors are unleashing their fury on the nation. Your ancestor can't do nothing. My ancestors can't do anything except have left me a method of learning, a way to know, a way to come into obedience, a way to, by their demonstration of honoring Torah, be an example, and we become that example as we turn to faith in Yahushua HaMashiach. But your ancestors, they didn't teach you nothing. You're still in the lands of your captivity, right? There's still yet a turning that needs to occur. There's still yet a place in obedience we need to have, And we understand there's this real tumultuous political climate now. You have immigrants that are under the gun, so to speak. Pressure to I don't want to say export, to send out, to get out of, right, the United States. Just pushed to remove immigrants, right? Immigrants. This atmospheric change in the nation. It's pointing to persecution, right? Right? This is not our home. This is not our land. There's nothing in this United States for me to fight for, because it doesn't mine. It's not mine. It's not my forefathers. It was never given to me. It was never given to Shem. So this is not mine. I don't want anything to do with it. But this climate, this is producing this heightened violence, right? And we as black people, we kind of like not joining in the what to say riots, not joining into the protest. Because, we start the protest, they going to turn it into a riot, and then we going to be the object of attack. Because that's what they all want. But see, we understand now, right? Right, and you hear some of the content creators, and this is the point that I was trying to get to. Some of these content creators are expressing how, we're listening to our ancestors. And, we're taking a step back. We're listening to our ancestors, right? Hear ye the word of Yahuah. I hear the voice of Yahuah. Because, some of these people saying they listening to the ancestors, right? They G4202s. My ancestors did not support G4202. G4203, G4204, G4205, right? No. My ancestors did not approve of or condone the Alphabet Club. No. And even on the continent of Africa, there's not this approval of G4202, G4203, G4204, G4205. That's where we come from, the continent. But we've learned the ways of the heathen. We've learned the ways of the heathen. We learned it. And again, we learned it through our disobedience to Torah, because Torah taught us not to. See, because, what nation is there so righteous, right? So righteous. That's Psalms 8. That's not what I was looking for. That's good. I might refer back to that, but that's not what I want. Let's see if I can find it. Where is that at? Anyway, the scripture says, because I'm not gonna always come to that. What nation is there that has Yahuah so nigh unto them? Right? A nation in which Yahuah is constantly available to a people. See, they want you to learn their ways. Or they want you to continue as you have in the past in pursuit of these ways of doing that does not bring results. Right? Now, as a people, Yashar'Al and Yahudah, Yahuah says that no man will buy us. Somebody's going to be able to deliver us from this bondage, even as they change the look of it, because it's structurally changed over time, but there's still this bondage. No man is going to deliver you. The United States of America doesn't care about the deliverance or the civil rights of a nation of people that it has brought over here as slaves. See, and these nations that are under attack now, these people groups that are under attack now, we've already experienced that. We've been there, we've done that. We literally, in so many different ways tried to warn you, but you wanted to maintain a certain status quo, certain place and position that you felt that you had that was better than us. Let you go. And then there's some people you just gotta cut off. See, because we're people that are called by His name, right? In order for us to escape the lands of our captivities, we have to turn to Yahuah. Right? You're where you are today because of your rebellion, right? We left off at Kings, 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, right? And we're going to pick up at the 13th verse. Right? Right. This is, right, why Yashar'Al fell. Right? Why the nation went into captivity. Right? Why they went into captivity. It says here, right? Yet Yahuah testified against Yashar'Al and against Yahudah by all the prophets. See, because Yahuah always sends someone to make sure that you hear from him, so that you are without excuse. Right? There's some of y'all that listen to this and fight against it, and and I don't know why you just don't shut me off. Because if you got something to say that I don't think is, I'm gonna shut you off. I ain't going back to you. But Yahuah sent you prophets and preachers and teachers to bring you a truth, a Torah, a Besorah, a truth, right? But you become stiff-necked, rebellious. You wouldn't read it. You wouldn't receive it, right? He's giving you a Torah, right? But you won't receive it. He says here, and he says, saying, turn ye from your evil ways. Right? Because Yahuah's way is the good way. Right? There's only two kinds of people. Those who are in the good way and those that aren't. Right? There's no lukewarm. Right? If you lukewarm, you still get spewed out of his mouth. You gotta be either hot or cold. There's only two kinds of people. Those that are in the way of Yahuah. And those that are in the way of Satan, Hasatan, the dominion of darkness, and in the way. Oh, hallelujah. Yahuah sent you prophets. Sent you seers. He says here, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to my Torah, according to all the Torah, which I commanded your fathers and which I sent to you by my servants, the prophets. Right? Exodus, the 4th chapter. And we looked at Exodus, the 4th chapter before, but we won't look at it again really quick. Right? Exodus 4. Right? And Mosheh, 4th chapter, the 1st verse. And Mosheh answered and said, behold, they will not believe me nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yahuah hath not appeared to thee. Right? Right? And Yahuah said unto him, oh, okay, no, that's not where I wanted to go. That's not the scripture I wanted. Where did I want to go? Oh, yeah. Exodus 18. No, that's not where I wanted to go either. Exodus 24. And 12. And Yahuah said unto Mosheh, come up into the mountain, unto the mount, and be there. Right? And I will give thee tablets of stone. right? And the Torah and commandments, which I have written, right, that thou mayest teach them. You has always ensured that his people had the way. Yahuah always ensured that his people had the way. They knew the way, right? Leviticus 10. 10 and 11. And that ye may teach the children of Yashar'Al the statutes which Yahuah have spoken unto them by the hand of Mosheh. Right. Yahuah always provided the way. But notwithstanding 2 Kings 17 and 14, notwithstanding, they would not hear. They would not hear, but hardened their necks, just like their fathers, and did not believe in Yahuah their Elohah, and they rejected the teaching. They rejected the instruction. You know, Christianity will tell you, go ahead and reject the Torah because it's done away with. Reject the commandments because it's done away with. But for us, the culture that we're established in is predicated on a Torah. Obedience to an all true and living Yahuah Elohayhem. Following his law, statutes, and commandments in order to receive from him. But you know, these other nations have taken the culture of a people and made it their own and shape-shifted it into whatever they wanted to by formulating doctrines. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers. Rejected the covenant. Rejected it. Rejected that which he made with Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Rejected the Torah, the statutes, the laws, right? Rejected it. And he made with their fathers and his testimonies, which he testified against them, and they followed vanity and became vain and went after the ways of the heathen. They went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuah had charged them that they should not do like them. Excuse me. Don't be like the heathen. Don't serve the gods of the heathen. What has Christianity got to do with Hebraic culture and Torah? Nothing. No thing. Nada. Right? Nada. Christianity is a religion. It has its own set of doctrines. It was established under Constantine. We weren't known as Christians. What? They went after the heathens that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuah had charged them that they should not do like them. He said, don't do like them. Right? Don't do like them. Yahuah made a covenant with you. Listen, Exodus 24:6. Right. And Mosheh took half of the blood and put it in a basin, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yahuah has said, we will do. And be obedient. That's what they said. Right? That's what they said. That's Exodus, right? And Mosheh took the blood and sprinkled it on the people. Without shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. And said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuah hath made with you concerning all these words. Covenant. Words. The way. The good way. See, Yahuah established you as a people of the good way. Not the ways of the heathen. We're around here, flaming G4202s, G4203s, G4204. What's flaming? G4205s. Defiling the temple of Yahuah? What? It's not what he's called you to, Yashar'Al, Yahudah. He has a covenant with you. Covenant that he made with your fathers. He renewed it with you after he brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, your fathers. And you were to obey it. You were to follow it. You were to stay in the good way. Deuteronomy 29. Deuteronomy 29:10. Ye stand this day all before ye stand this day, all of you, before Yahuah, your Elohah, your captains of your tribes, your elders and your officers, with all the men of Yashar'Al. Your little ones, your wives, and the strangers that is in thy camp. From the hewers of thy wood to the drawers of thy water. That thou shouldest enter into covenant with Yahuah, your Elohah, and into his oath which he swore, the oath which Yahuah thy Elohah maketh with thee this day. See, you under a sworn blood oath. right? And, I praise Yahuah for the renewal of that oath, right? By our kinsman redeemer, whose blood was taken into the Shamayim by him and sprinkled on the altar, was received of Yahuah as a sweet-smelling savor, which purchased our Yeshua, Yashar'Al, Yahudah, and the strangers of the other nations who would receive it. But you, he had a covenant with. He says here, your little ones, your wives, and thy strangers that is in thy camps, from the hewers of wood unto the drawers of water, that thou shouldst enter into covenant with Yahuah thy Elohah, and to his oath, which Yahuah thy Elohah maketh with thee this day. You made oath with your fathers this day. That he may establish thee today for a people unto himself, that he may be unto thee an Elohah, as he have said unto thee, and as he have sworn unto thy father Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Covenant. A sworn oath. Right? Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with him that standeth here with us this day before Yahuah our Elohah, and also with him that is not here with us this day. So what is he saying? He's saying the covenant is a sworn oath for those that were before us and those that are coming after us. A covenant. Right? A covenant. Right? Jeremiah 31 and 32. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, and the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim, which my covenant day braked, right? Although I was a husband to them, saith Yahuah Elohah, right? Right? But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yashar'Al after those days. This is the covenant that I will make with Yashar'Al after those days, saith Yahuah. I will put my Torah within their parts, in their inner parts, and write them on their hearts, and will be their Elohah, and they shall be my people. How does he do this? How does he do this? Yahuah, I give you praise. He says, then I will sprinkle clean water on you. Yahushua Mashiach. He ain't baptized with Yukana. And ye shall be cleansed from all your filthiness. Now, Yahushua didn't have any filthiness because he was sin-free. But what he did was he meticulously obeyed a process that had been established amongst the nation that was required in order to present oneself before you. Right? He says from your filthiness and from your idols, and you will be cleansed. A new heart also will I give you, and a new ruach will I put within you. I will take away the stony heart and give you a new heart of flesh. I will put my Ruach HaKodesh within you and cause you to walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave your fathers. Not the United Snakes of America. So the United Snakes of America is not the land that he gave our fathers. He gave our fathers Canaan, sub-Saharan Africa, the land that Canaan took that was allotted to Shem. Lebanon, not Jersey. Not Jersey. Jersey getting towed up right now. Not Jersey. That ain't it. Say, ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. What land did he give to his fathers? The land of Canaan. The land of Canaan. The land of Canaan. That's our land. That's why I used to sing the old Negro spirituals way back in Canaan's land. Because the land that we had was the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan is below the land of Ham. And the land of Japhet is above the land of Ham. We got Middle Earth. Sub-Saharan Africa. Either way you cut it, it's Middle Earth. The land of Canaan. A people that Yahuwah has put his spirit in. A people that Yahuwah has put his spirit in. He says, what was that? What was that? I get moving so sometimes. Yeah. Not according to the covenant that I made with your fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim. He gonna gather us. He gonna bring us out. Not like he did in Mitzrayim. He says, not according to the covenant I made with your father in the day that I took them out, that took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim, which my covenant they break. Although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahuwah. Right? But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yashar'Al. Right? After those days, saith Yahuwah, I will put my Torah within their inner parts and write them on their hearts. Right? You're going to write it on your heart. See, you're going to want to do the way. You're going to want the good way. You are going to want the good way. He says here, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yashar'Al. We're talking about a nation of people, right? Yahuwah ain't gotten rid of his people. He hasn't. He hasn't. I'm going to tell you what, though. If you his people and you ain't keeping his Torah, guess what? You're going to be done. If you don't come under an atonement, the atonement of Mashiach Yahusha, because you can't offer him no sacrifices. You can't do none of that because you ain't qualified. Right? You have to receive the witness of Yahusha, Yah's salvation. He's made the provisions for you to return and be established. He made a covenant with Yashar'Al. He said, listen, after those days, saith Yahuwah, I will put my Torah within their inner parts. See? Right? Right? But you got to come out from among them and be ye separate. You got to be born again of the water and Ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, you got to be baptized. Stop saying you ain't got to be baptized. It's crazy. Yeah, you got to be baptized. Yes, you got to ceremonially get your butt in the water and go down and come up. Right? You do. Point blank, period. No exceptions. Yahushua didn't. Yahushua didn't make an exception. The apostles didn't make a. He said, listen, man and brother, what must we do? He said, repent and be baptized in I think he said, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach for the remission of your sins. Listen, 2 Kings 17:16. And they left all the commandments of Yahuah their Elohah. Yashar'Al. You left them. All of them. You left the commandments of Yahuah your Elohah and made them molten images and even 2 calves. And made groves and worshiped the host of heaven and served Baal. Hezekiah the king. I think it was Hezekiah the king. Who did righteously in the eyes of Yahuwah, right? But his son did wickedly. Right. Son did wickedly. Right. I think it was Hezekiah. Let me do this real quick. 2 Kings. Let's go 20. Let me see. No. Nebuchadnezzar. No. 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 Let me see. Manasseh. Right, yes, that's it, right? So, Hezekiah, that was king over Yahudah, dies. Righteous king, right? Righteous king dies. His son, Manasseh, was 12 years old. This is 2 Kings 21:1. Manasseh was 21. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 50 and 5 years in Jerusalem over Judah. And his mother's name was Hezbah, right? And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah, after the abominations of the heathens, the king of Judah, whom Yahuwah cast out before the children of Israel. For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had destroyed. Hezekiah moved and established Jerusalem in the area of Yahudah as righteous again, and tore down all the wicked stuff that these people had allowed themselves to put up and begin to worship these elves, right? Hezekiah tore them down. But his son, 12 years old, right? His son began to reign when he was 12. But he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahudah. For he built up again the high places, the places of these pagan worship places, these churches, on every corner. You can't make this stuff up. You got earth pig worship on every corner. For he built up again the high places which Hezekiah his father had destroyed, and he reared up the altars of Baal, and he made groves, as did Ahaz, king of Yashar'Al. He did exactly what the king of Asherah did, Ahaz, right? And worship all the hosts of heaven and serve them. And he built altars in the house of Yahuah, the temple, the house that Shlomo had built for Yahuah, where he could perpetually put his name, this wicked Hebrew king, right? He built altars in the house of Yahuah, right? Of which Yahuah said in Jerusalem, I will put my name. And he built altars for all the hosts of heaven in the two courts of the house of Yahuah. And he made his sons to pass through the fly. He took his sons and offered them up on the altars in the courts. Yeah, made them pass through the fire and observed times, astrology, zodiac signs. Devils. They got you saying I'm a Gemini and I'm an Aquarius and I'm a Taurus, I'm a Leo. Devils. That's what your fathers did. Ain't nothing new under the sun. That's what your fathers did. Made his son and observe times and use enchantments. And I ain't talking about observing times as it relates to seasons as given to the nation of Yashar'Al to keep and obey, not those. Talking about astrological signs and seasons and dates, right? They used enchantments, dealt with familiar ruachs and wizards, and wrought much wickedness in the sight of Yahuah and provoked him to anger. They provoked him to anger. Yashar'Al. That's what you did. Your king taught you the ways, even though you had knew him from times past, and his father saw to it that they were taken down. That wicked, diabolical son of his, right, brought him back. Whole wicked generation. 50 years he served as king. Possibly two generations of wicked idolatry. Hence, you can understand, right? We back in King 17 now, where he says, and they left all the commandments of Yahudah their Elohah, and made molten images and 2 calves, and made groves, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal, the Lord. They served Baal, right? Look at that. We're going to look at the word Baal now. H, the word Baal, right? That Strong's letter.
Strong's H1168.
H1168.
Baal.
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 Right?
And the form just below that, Baal.
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 Right? Now that's H1168. Right? The word Baal means Lord. Yeah. Yeah. Means Lord. They got you worshiping Baal. Lord specifically as the divine name of Baal. You can't make this stuff up, man. These devils. They took our book and they changed their images and their names, and they satisfied their religious desires, and they got you worshiping Baal. Lord, specifically as divine name of Baal. You can't make this stuff up. Right? Right. It says, and they left all the commandments of Yahuah their Elohah and made them molten images. They left off of the way. They left off of the way. And made molten images, right? 2 calves. And made groves, and worship all the hosts of heaven, and serve Baal, the divine name of Baal, Lord. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and learn the ways of the heathen. Listen, they're still doing this, man. They're still sacrificing loved ones to get a place of fame, to get a position of power and recognition. They offering up. And they cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and use divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuah and provoked him to anger. Therefore Yahuah was very angry with Yashar'Al and removed them out of his sight, and there was none left but the tribe of Yahudah. But we know that Manasseh, the king of Yahudah, which we read, right, just now read in Kings, the 21st chapter, how he did wickedly, right? So Yahuah removed Yashar'Al, the northern kingdom, and there was none left but Yahudah. But he says, also Yahudah kept not the commandments of Yahuah, their Elohah, but walked in the statutes of Yashar'Al. They did exactly what Yashar'Al did. They did exactly what Yashar'Al did. They took on the Torah of the heathens. They took on the statutes of the heathen. They became Hellenized. they put off the covenant of Yahuah. Maccabees. Maccabees 1. Maccabees 1 and 13. Then certain of the people were so forward therein that they went to the king and gave the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Oh, you want to be like us? You can be like us. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you an order so that you can go and simulate into our culture. You have to put off what you do. He says, "Hey, listen. Right? And gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise, Planet Fitness. They built a Planet Fitness. They built a LA club. They built Crunch. You ain't gonna like that. He says, right? And in those days, there went out of Yashar'Al wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and cut a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we've had much sorrow. Since we departed from the heathen, we have much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise in Jerusalem. According to the customs of the heathen. See, they walked away from the good way. Right? And they made themselves uncircumcised. They made themselves uncircumcised. And forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen. They became Americans. They became Dominicans. They became Haitian. They became Brits. They became French. They became Ashkenaz. Yeah, I was listening to this content creator, and I guess he is American, born American. His parents are Palestinians. So I guess he's got this channel. and he has a lot of Ashkenaz, young Ashkenaz. Talking about young kids, right? They get on there and they get to calling them names and cussing them out. The heathens. The heathen. Right. Learn the heathen. That we want to be like. Anyway. He was talking to this melanated boy and girl. He said, where's your parents from? They from Ethiopia. But we were born here and in Ashkenaz's country. So we Ashkenaz. We was born in Jersey. So we Jersey. He was like, oh, wait. He says, you what? He said, what? No, we don't, we hate this, we don't like that, we don't want these people, da. Melanated like me. Can't make this stuff up. You ain't Brit. You ain't Ashkenaz. You ain't America. Ken. You ain't Mexican. You ain't Afro-Mexican. Now, some of the Afro-Mexicans are African-Mexican. They got heritage that are combined. Right, but you got places like Anagua, and Veracruz, where you have people that actually look like me. Right, you got Santo Domingo, you got Guatemala, all these places where bruise, but that don't make you. You still Hebrew. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen. And sold to do mischief. Right? 2 Kings 17 and 18. And Yahudah was very angry with Yashar'Al and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but only the tribe of Yahudah, and Yahudah kept not the commandment of Yahuah their Elohim to walk in the statutes of Yashar'Al which they made. And Yahuah rejected all the seed of Yashar'Al and afflicted them. And listen, Yahuah rejected them, right? Because Yahuah always has a remnant, though. Yahuah rejected the nation. But the rejection was not permanent. He was rejecting the people. He established the church. Ludicrous. And I ain't talking about the rapper. And Yahuah rejected all the seed of Yashar'Al and afflicted them and delivered them into the hands of a spoiler until he had cast them out of his sight. And he rent Yashar'Al from the house of David And they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drove Yashar'Al from following Yahuah, and made them sin great sins. Right? Great sins. So much so that, right? Here's the proof. So much so then, for the children of Yashar'Al walked in the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and departed not from them until Yahuah removed Yashar'Al out of his sight, as he had said by the servants and the prophets. So was Yashar'Al carried away of their own land into Assyria unto this day. Right? And what did the Syrians do? Right? And the king of Babylon bought men from Babylon. He bought men from Babylon. From Cheloth, and from Avah, and from Hamath, and from Sepharim. You can't make this stuff up. Sepharim. Is that Sephardic? It's in the book. You just got to read it, right? And placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Yashar'Al. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. You know, Samaritans were pagans. But yet Yahushua brought Yeshua. I understand, right? Yashar'Al and Yahudah. You had a way. And you still have a way back. You had a way. But you still have a way back. Right? You still have a way back. The way back is not your ancestors, in the sense that your ancestors' spirits are going to speak to you. No. Nada. That's a ruach. That's a ruach. That's not your ancestors. Your ancestors don't have the luxury of being able to speak to you. Right? But Yahuah will move you, will speak to you, and encourage you. Right? He will send his Melekiym to bear witness to you. Right? But you have to turn. You can return. Right? In spite of all the chaos that's dropping off and popping off around you, you can return. You can be established in this witness. You can be born again of the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. You can be his. Right? Because there is a destruction coming. Yeah, there is a destruction coming. Right? You know, we hear it. There's wars and rumors of wars, right? Right? We know that there's some things that are looking to pop off. But we know that there's certain events that has to occur first. Has to occur first. See, that day is not going to overtake us like a thief. Right? we who are born of the water of the Ruach HaKodesh to establish in this witness, because we understand that Yahuah is our Yahuah Elohayhem, and he watches over his word concerning his people to perform it. There's nothing that Yahuah won't do for his children. There's nothing that Yahuah won't do for those that he has chosen of the other nations who have received his witness. Right? Nothing. Right? But Yashar'Al and Yahudah, you are a people that are called by his name. Right? You are a people that are called by his name. And regardless of what the world is trying to tell you, regardless of what Christian doctrine and all these evil, wicked devils are trying to say to you, you are the people. You are the people that are called by his name. You are a people steeped in rich culture, right? And your culture is Torah. Your culture is the books of the Torah. Yeah, Enoch, Jubilees, Yashar'El. Elements to Yashar'El. Right? But the scripts and Maccabees and all the books that are recorded, documented history of your culture that you haven't even been allowed to witness, because they got them all in the vault down in got it all. They got it all in the Constantine's courts, in Constantine's vaults. But that which is necessary for you to understand to receive this witness has been provided for you. And see, I'm that prophet. I'm that man of Yahuah, right? I'm that proclaimer of a word, right? Hear ye the word of Yahuah. You must turn from the way of the heathen. Yahusha says in Yahudah, the 14th chapter, right? Yahudah, the 14th chapter, right? First verse. Let not your heart be troubled. You hear what you're seeing. You see what you're hearing. Believe in Yahuah. And believe also in Yahusha, Yah salvation. For in my Father's house there are many dwelling places. All right? And if it were not so, if not, I would have told you. Right? He says, I go to prepare a place. Right? Right? And if I go to prepare a place, listen, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and ye know the way. Where I go, you know, the way you know. Why did they know the way? Because Yahushua HaMashiach had been before them, teaching them the way since he's been in their presence. He's revealed to them the way. He sent them in power as a demonstration of the way. He's given them Torah, the way. Thomas said unto him, you know, that doubting, faithless Thomas, said unto him, Yahuah Adonai, Yahusha Adonai, we don't know whither thou goest. How can we know the way? Because Thomas was applying the way as directions, as opposed to the way to life. He was like, how do we know where you going? How do we know where you gonna strike out and leave to? Thomas. Luther said, Yahushua said unto him, I am the way. See, Yashar'Al Yahudah, you have to understand that this witness of the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh is the way. There's no other way to Abba. There's no other way. The earth pig is Jesus. It's not the way. By all, the Lord is not the way. Right? Your culture points to Yahuah and Yahusha, Yah salvation, as the way. You have to turn to Yah salvation, the way, and faith in Hamashiach, Yahusha, Yah salvation, right, in order to escape and to be with him when the time comes. Here he says here, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to Abba, no man comes to Yahuah, but through Yahusha, Yah salvation. You can't come to Yahuah through the earth pig. You can't come to Yahuah through Jesus. You can't come to Yesu or Jesus. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing. No thing. He said, if you know me, you should have known my Abba also. And henceforth ye know me, me, and you have seen him. So that's, yeah, Adonai Yahushua show us Abba. It'll satisfy us. Right? Listen. Right, listen, Philip. No man can look on Yahuwah and live. But if you want to know what he looks like, I'm here. I'm not Yahuwah. I'm his son. But I have my father's characteristics. And I resemble him. You see the father. You know. You see my son, physical son, you go, oh yeah, that's Weldon's son. And if you see me and my father, you be like, oh yeah, that's Weldon's son. You said, you seen me. How long have I been with you? So long, Philip, yet you have not known me. Right? Philip? He that has seen me have seen Abba. And how say ye, show us Abba? He said, believest thou not that I am in Abba and Abba in me? The words that I speak not of myself, but the Abba, Father, that dwelleth in me, he doeth the work. Who dwells in Yahushua by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, without measure. He's a demonstration, a reflection of Abba, contained in earthen vessels. He commands authority on the arets. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, Yahushua is the way. You can return. You can return. It's still time. Abba Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, I thank you for the words you've given me. I've given to them, and I pray that in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, they would receive this word. Abba, you have a people that are called by your name. You have not casted away your people. Abba, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, but you have given them a method to return. And in returning, they have to receive that which you have promised to give. Then they have to walk in Torah. They got to walk in obedience to Torah. How about I pray that your word would make them alive? Abba, I know this word ain't for everybody. I know it's not for everybody. But Abba, I pray that the somebody that it's for, they would reach. It would reach them. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Abba, I praise your name. Let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuah, my strength and my redeemer. Man of Yah, called to greatness. Woman of Yahuah, called to greatness. Beautifully and wonderfully made. Listen, today Yahuah's favored you. You can return. Yashar'Al. Yahudah. You can return. Have faith in Yah's salvation. Yahusha. Your Mashiach. Your kinsman redeemer. And be born again. And be ready for his return. Listen, with that I say, shalom, 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 and be blessed.
Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.